welcome to United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey. We are here in Jenny Jump State Forest in Hope, New Jersey. Since I did see a couple people who just parked, and I want to give them a little time to filter down, find a seat, find a comfortable patch of ground if they don't have a seat. Uh, Welcome, not only to everyone joining us here, but also joining us online, because that is right, we do live stream these presentations to both YouTube and Twitch. So if you're ever at home wondering, man, I'm bored, what can I do on a Saturday that's neat, interesting, and somewhat educational? Join us in the chat room, say hi, ask questions. You can always ask the question. Sometimes we don't know the answer, but that's life. That's what it is. Science is a big topic. Astronomy is part of science and also a big topic, so not everyone knows everything. That being said, do check out our website, uacnj.org. It's where you're going to... Are you going to behave, speaker?
Uh-oh.
Okay, it stopped if I move slightly to the right. Right. You're going to find a list of all our upcoming talks and speakers. Great source to find out what we're up to. If you're like, man, I missed the talk last week and that sounded really interesting, don't worry. You can also find our presentations archived on our YouTube, and you'll find links to that there. You'll also find links to all of our member clubs, because we're actually an organization made up of other astronomy clubs. And one of the easiest ways to get into the hobby of astronomy or astrophotography is to join your local club, not only for the ease of access, but because chances are they have tips and tricks and where's that nice local place to go get really interesting shots or views for your local area. Because the tips and tricks I know for out here in Warren County, New Jersey, don't necessarily help people who are living in places like New York City. A lot more light pollution, so what you need to learn is a little bit different. You can also check us out on our social media pages, our Facebook, Instagram. We have a Discord server, all great places where we post what we're doing, any updates, and also get in touch with us, ask questions, share pictures of your newest astronomy gear, or even your astrophotography photos. Now, since it looks like most of us are down here and settled, it is time for the safety briefing. If you guys need to use the restroom here, it is the porta potty in back. It is big, it is blue, it is to my left, your right. We also have a little museum and gift shop area. You feel free to go check out the meteorite displays in there and all that cool stuff. Now, it is overcast. We are hoping that we get some clearings where we'll be able to see stuff as things get darker. That being said, the weather is the weather. We cannot control it. They will not allow me access to the weather machine. However, if it does clear, and as long as we will have, it looks like we do have one of our observatories open. It is over there. Each one of those sheds over there has a roll-off roof and houses its own telescope, and we can at least show you what our setup looks like even if you cannot necessarily look through the eyepiece to see fun and interesting space things. That being said, we do have volunteers. Feel free to ask them questions. Feel free to try and stump them. Like I said, science, astronomy is a big topic, and chances are some of them will make up fun jokes. Others will actually know the answer because they have encyclopedic knowledge of the subject, which is bizarre to me. But that's besides the point. When we go to leave, we are using our headlights. It does get dark in a state park, and we prefer not to play Frogger and get run over. So yes to headlights. That being said, as it does get dark, any flashlights, our cell phone lights that we may be using, try and keep those pointed towards the ground, because we don't need to accidentally blind people with that newest 100,000 lumen monstrosity from Amazon. Because that is always not fun, and it takes a while for our night vision to get reacclimated. So, you guys are not here to listen to me blabber on for forever. You're here for our talk about what's up in the May sky given by Lonny Buinis. Lonnie has been giving the What's Up series since approximately the Cretaceous period. It's been quite some time, but in reality, since United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey began, he used to hold the degrees from Stevens Institute of Technology in Physics and Computer Science. His arms got tired. He since found a wall to hang them on, which is a great improvement. He has since learned how to make space art, 3D animation, videos. He has a fun website, which he'll shamelessly plug later. And he counts his greatest accomplishment as marrying his narrator, Jan, who is also here tonight. His current projects include expanding his space history ebook and putting his pants on 2 legs at a time. How's that going? He's making progress. Eventually, we're going to have to get him to show us okay, how do we do this? But that takes far more energy than I have in the morning. I know that for sure. And with that, here's Lonnie.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kim, and welcome to Jenny Jump, everyone. Do we have any first-time visitors? Oh, wow. Okay, good. You'll all be coming up to give the presentation. No, you can relax. Thanks for coming. We're going to talk about what we can see in the May sky. We're looking at, in my first picture, what it looks like right here, looking over the observatories in the evening where the planet Venus is not visible. Why? Trees and clouds, yeah. So this talk is what you would have seen in the May sky. But just go out any night in May. Anybody see the lunar flyby? Did you watch that? Yeah, very exciting. The Artemis 2 flyby. I found a really neat picture to compare with science fiction. For one of the crew members, Christina Koch, was caught in one picture looking out the window at a brilliant Earth. The Earth is blindingly bright when you're out in space looking at it, unlike the photographs you see from NASA. Compare that with a movie, 2001: A Space Odyssey, all the way back from 1968, when many of us here weren't even born. And look how close Stanley Kubrick, the director, got the Earth to the real thing. Amazing. We also had a comet in the news recently, hard to see in the morning sky. Space artist Don Davis lives out in California, and he actually got some homemade pictures of the comet with the easy to remember name C/2025 R3 Pan stars. Go ahead, everybody, try it. No, it's okay. So here's a close-up on Don Davis's picture. It's hard to see that the comet here has 2 tails. Most comets have 2 tails, one blue and one gold. The gold one comes from dust. The blue one comes from gas, ionized gas. Very cool. And generally, the gold one is curved because the comet's leaving the dust behind. Moongiant.com. I don't work for this website. I don't work for any of the websites I'm going to mention tonight, but it's a great place to get information about the moon, which is over there, and you can't see it tonight. This is May 2nd. You can set it for any date. You can get a very nice calendar like this for each month. I've highlighted just the big phases, the main phases of the moon. Full moon, which was yesterday, is the absolute worst time to see what? Stars? Anything. Very good. This man knows his sky. Yes, sir. Right. You can see the moon pretty well. You could find planets. You might find some bright stars. But it's the absolute worst time to see faint things like gas clouds, nebulas, star clusters. Best time is when the moon is new. Where is the moon when it's new? In the daytime, right? Daytime. It's near the sun, so we can't see it. Last and first quarter, when the moon is half lit up on the half we see, so half of a half. a quarter. If you want to see the last quarter moon, you face south at Jenny Jump here. South is that way. You'll hear the racetrack in the summertime. Down that way, you'll see the bright lights. That's south. The sun rises in the east, sets in the what? West. Don't be shy, right? So in the early morning, you could see the last quarter moon before it sets directly in the south. The end of the month, 23rd, is a good time to observe the moon because, number one, we're all awake at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. The moon is due south, half of it's lit up. If you look between the bright and dark side, that's the terminator, right, boundary. And just to the left of the terminator, you'll see little white dots. What are those? Cities? When I was a kid, I thought they were cities. Lights, wow, people on the moon. Someday, maybe. But what catches sunlight? Craters, and in the middle of the crater, when you make an explosion, mountain peaks. The peaks of mountains, you can see them on the left side of the moon. Not in that picture. So something weird's happened this month. Look at that. First, full moon. 31st, full moon. 2 full moons in 1 month. What is that called? A blue moon. Does the moon turn blue? No. Sometimes the moon turns blue when there's a volcanic eruption, particulates in the air cut the light, turns bluish. What's that called? Trick question. It's a blue moon. That's also a blue moon. But blue moon, once in a while, you get 2 moons, full moons in a month, because it takes 29 and a half days for the moon to go through all its phases. But if you divide 365 days in a year by 12, what do you get? Quick, anybody got a calculator? Cell phone? Nobody? You get something longer than 29 and a half. Right? So that means once in a while, on a long month, you can fit 2 full moons in. Blue moon. There's a beautiful full moon calendar description at starwalk.space. I don't work for them either. Every full moon, every month, has a special name. Comes from Native Americans or the Boy Scouts. Take your pick. There's actually lots of names. Every Native American tribe had its own name for the full moon. One of the most popular for me is the flower moon, but we also have the second one. And in addition to that, the moon is further away than usual this month because it doesn't go around the Earth in a circle. It goes around in a squashed circle. So if there are any mathematicians in the audience, I know Julian is studying math. We have one of our visitors named Julian. This thing is called an egg shape or oval or ellipse. Very good, thank you. So the moon is closer sometimes and further away. This month it's further away, so it's a micromoon. Is it a lot smaller than usual? Can you see the difference? Nah. The scientific answer is nah. Milk moon, bright moon, beaver moon, frost moon. It's got a lot of different names. One of the most popular is flower. So we have the flower micromoon. And we have the blue micromoon, May 31st. So this site, Starwalk, gives you some nice information about that. Morning planets. I picked the middle of each month to talk about what we see in general for the whole month. The sky's not going to change that much, but it does change enough that we give a new talk every month. So we're going to do what's up next month in the June sky, right? Because the Earth moves around the sun, and where you're looking out at night into space as you go around the sun, we're looking at different places. 30 degrees each time. How did I get that? 360 degrees all the way around the sky, divided by 1 month, 12 in the year. 12 into 360 is 30 degrees. So I'm going to be showing you a different sky that changes 30 degrees the same time at night but for different months. We're going to find the moon down in the trees on the left. I know some of you in the back may be having trouble seeing what's on the screen, so I'm going to describe it. Moon on the left, the planet Mars, the planet Saturn, and the planet not visible in this picture, planet Uranus, Neptune, all going along a straight line, because the solar system looks like a straight line from certain angles because it is, to use the scientific word, flat. It's flat. The solar system is flat, pretty much, except for Pluto, Mercury, comets, some asteroids. All right, so that's what you would see 8:30 at night. That's the time when most of us are up. How about, let's see, evening planets looking toward the west? We're going to find Venus and Jupiter. Jupiter is still high enough to see in the west. It's right there beyond the trees, but we can't see it because clouds. Yep, I did not arrange the clouds, I'm sorry. So I urge you to come on back to some of our other, we're going to skip that, some of our other speakers. We do this every Saturday, April through October. And then in the cold months, we don't have you sit out here and suffer. We do this online streaming through the rest of the year. There is one meteor shower significant this time of year, the Eta Aquariids, coming from the constellation Aquarius. Anybody know what Aquarius was? One of the signs of the zodiac. It's a guy holding something. Aqua. Water, the water carrier, Aquarius. This is a picture of some of the Aquarian meteors. You can see them now through the end of the month, but I urge all of you, forget everything I've said tonight. You can even forget my name, that's okay. Try to remember the peak. Go out May 6th, the night of the 6th into the 7th. Go out as late as you can. Later is better. Sometime around midnight, we're looking down the Earth's shadow. It's darkest there. You'll see more meteors. Can't stay up that late? That's okay. Go out May 6th and look for bright meteors. This is the third strongest shower of the year after the Perseids in August and the Orionids in December. And these are very fast meteors. Most meteors, like ones I've talked about before, 40 kilometers a second. This is coming in at 192 times the speed of sound. The fastest things that our military has ever made go at 20 times the speed of sound. So this is coming in very quick. They burn up fast. You might see, if you're in very dark skies like here at the State Forest, you might see 55 per hour. How many is that per minute? Roughly. One. Yeah, about one a minute. Where I live in Bergen County, where I can see the North Star and planets and the moon and that's it, I'm going to see probably zero the whole hour. But I'm going to try. So I urge you to try also. You're not going to see any of the things I'm talking about if you don't go out and try it for yourself. The source of this, what is the source of a meteor shower? It's usually leftover debris from a comet. And this one is left over from one of the most famous comets ever, Halley's. Last time it was here was in 1984. It's coming back in the year 2061. Some of you in the audience will still be around to see that, so don't miss it. And every once in a while, the Eta Aquariids have an outburst, and they look brighter and bigger, and there's more of them. But the last time was 934 AD, so I'm not holding my breath. What do you need to see meteors? Special equipment, right? Thousands of dollars. You could spend that. Is he making this up? Yes. What do you need? Comfy chair. A comfy chair that goes back would be good because the equipment you're going to use is your naked eye. Repeat after me. Naked eye. I didn't hear people in the back. Naked eye. Don't forget to use your naked eye because it has the widest field of view of any optical equipment you could possibly get. Astronomical telescopes, half the size of the moon. That's nothing, a half degree. There's 360 degrees in the whole sky. The human eye can see roughly out to 180, not that sharp. Pretty good 40 or 45. So you want to see the whole sky because the meteors come from everywhere. They're actually coming from a single point. Do you need what other special equipment? You might want to spend a few $100s to, like this guy, to get some anti-bug equipment. Do you need to spend that much? No. No, but this is the season when the bugs start coming out. So a comfy chair, your naked eye, and bug spray. And that's about it. That's what you need. If you stayed up late enough until the early morning, quarter after 5 in the morning, looking right here at UACNJ, you would see the moon rising with Mars and Saturn and the radiant point from which the meteors radiate out in all directions. So if the meteors are coming at us from an old track from Halley's Comet, that's straight, right? Why don't we see them coming straight? It's an optical illusion, right? You ever stand on railroad tracks? Don't do this when the train's coming. And look in the distance and you see they seem to come together. You ever stand in the highway on the Garden State Parkway? Don't do that. But if you're in a car, you notice how the lines, the separators seem to come together in the distance. Optical illusion. Those are parallel lines. They never meet. The meteors are coming at us in a parallel direction like this. And we pass through that stream, but they seem to go out in perspective all over the whole sky. So to properly appreciate a meteor shower, you don't need to look for the radiant. You don't have to wait for it to rise. You can just spend the night watching meteors. What's a constellation? Yes. Perfect. Group of stars that makes a picture. Thank you very much. Yeah, some groups of stars aren't officially recognized. There's the same number of official constellations and number of keys on a piano. So I don't know if any of you in the audience are piano players. Anybody ever count the keys? Who said that? Yes, sir. 88 keys. Yeah. Yeah, 88 constellations. We're not going to do all of them, just maybe 80, 81. So I hope you're all here. You're going to be here till about 10, right? No. No, we're not going to do that many. We're going to do this one. Looks like a sickle or backwards question mark and a triangle on the end. And in my mind, I look at the stars in the sky. My mind kind of puts lines between them. But not every human being thinks the same way. And we all see the patterns differently. So if you get yourself a star map with lines, it might not be what you see. What is Leo? Anybody know? It's a sign of the zodiac, which means the sun passes through it, the moon passes through it, all the planets pass through it. Leo. Oh, do I have a picture? Yeah, it's a lion. Right, the lion. Looks just like a lion. In Leo is a nice place to look for galaxies. And galaxies come in all sizes and shapes. Some look like our Milky Way, the way our Milky Way galaxy that we live in, 1 trillion stars. That's one followed by 12 zeros. That's 1,000 billion stars. This part of the sky near Leo, Cancer, also great place to look for galaxies. Also a beautiful star cluster called the Beehive right in the middle of Cancer, which remarkably looks just like a crab, right? No? You don't see a crab? All right. Our ancestors had great imaginations. The Beehive cluster looks like this. It's called an open cluster of stars. So the stars were born together, but they're not all crammed into a globe like other groups, like other star clusters, which are called what? What kind of star cluster? Yes. Perfect. Thank you. They're in a globe, globular star cluster. Very good. You know, we used to give prizes for people who got the answers right. Maybe later. Our Milky Way galaxy is somewhat flat, but recently discovered to be somewhat bent also. And since we're living inside it, we see it as a narrow strip. This time of the year, the Milky Way is low in the sky, So it's a good time to look up toward the Big Dipper to find other galaxies because our Milky Way gets in the way. It has dust, it has gas, it has stars, and that gets in the way of seeing behind it. It's prevented us from seeing much behind it until the James Webb Space Telescope came along, coated in gold, which lets it see infrared light, which we can feel infrared as heat, but the James Webb sees infrared. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not supposed to go beyond this line. When I pass beyond this line, an alarm will go off. But yeah, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to, can you pass out this young fellow here and this young lady in front had correct answers. Thank you. You get some stickers. So a good time to see galaxies is this time of year, right near the Big Dipper, which is not a constellation. Oh no, I hope I don't want to disillusion anybody. The Big Dipper is not a constellation. It's a part of a constellation, the Great Bear, and that looks just like an upside down bear to me because I'm hallucinating. How about now? A little better? Yeah, right nearby are the hunting dogs and the hair of Bernice. I don't remember who Bernice was. She was famous a long time ago. Coma berenices, the hair of Bernice. Canis venatici, the hunting dogs. Great places to look for distant galaxies. And for instance, one of my favorites is in Coma berenices. And it looks like somebody got punched in the eye. So they call M64 the black eye galaxy. Beautiful, beautiful galaxy. Our galaxy would look a little bit like that because we have the dark dust hiding the light of the gas behind, the gas being lit up by stars. If you look over in the east, which way is east at Jenny Jump? Let's see. South is that way. I know some of you know your directions. The sun sets that way. So in the east is where? Over there. Thank you. Oh, did you get a sticker? Oh, good, good, good. So stuff is coming up, new stuff is coming up there. If you stay up later on at night, whether you come to Jenny Jump or do this from home, you'll find Buertes or Buotes. You can say it however you like. There's an umlaut in there. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's Buertes. Try to say the letter E. Go ahead, E. But make your mouth form for a letter O. E. Buertes. There you go. Practice that at home. Buertes. I was giving a talk in a planetarium once to a bunch of 8-year-olds, and I said, "Here's the herdsman. What does it look like to you?" And one kid shouted out, "It's a rocket! Rocket going that way." The bright orange star, Arcturus, is at the bottom, so that could be the flame of the rocket. In the picture I made from Stellarium free computer program, the star colors are not that good, I have to say, because your human eye, your naked eye, can see that that star has an orange color. It's the fourth brightest star in the sky, Arcturus. So it could be a rocket. I see a kite, maybe. What do you think? Yeah, maybe. And there he is, the herdsman. The herdsman. Yeah, it's got a sickle. Boertes. And right next to him, I'll be talking more about these constellations in my next talk. What's up in the June? Thank you, sky. Hercules and Corona. Corona, the crown, was one of the labors, 7 labors of Hercules to collect a valuable crown. And there it is right next to him. The crown may become famous very soon. We're expecting a star to explode there. So Hercules looks kind of like a letter H. So that special event, which I just mentioned, I hinted at, is the blaze star T Corona Borealis. It's a star in the crown that we can't see normally. It's so faint, you need a pretty good sized telescope to see it. There are 2 stars there, a small white star, so small that we can't see it in this picture, about the size of a planet like Earth. But stars are thousands of times bigger. And that little star is pulling material from the big one that forms a disk around it. But once in a while, the material builds up at the impact point and creates an explosion called a nova, a nuclear explosion that outshines both stars by 1,600 times. And that is what we're waiting for. We were waiting for it in 2024 because it happens every 80 years. It's just that now there's a delay. So the last predictions, accurate predictions made by Gene Schneider in 2024, said maybe March 2025. Did it happen? No. November? No. June 2026. That's next month. Will it happen? I don't know. We'll see. But it'll be in the news. You won't be able to miss it. Every major media will be carrying it for about, I think, 6 seconds. When? That's the question. So, how would you get started in astronomy? I did it by taking magazines, space magazines like Sky and Telescope or Astronomy. They have in the middle a star chart. You can pull it right out of the magazine. You can learn it that way. You could buy a Planisphere, shameless advertisement, from here in our gift shop. Planispheres made of paper, inexpensive. We sell that here. There are other ones made by the Miller Company, made from plastic. If you're a camper, you know that dew from the air can do a number on paper. So there's different kinds of products available. Check out our gift shop. If you want to start with binoculars, there's an advantage to binoculars because if you become bored with astronomy, when I was a kid, I was into rock and minerals, butterflies, birds, astronomy, space, collecting stuff, and then I lost interest. But my binoculars were still useful because I could spy on my neighbors with them. I could look at birds. I could go to a sporting event, right? They have multiple uses. And they turn everything right side up, unlike an astronomical telescope, which everything is upside down because they don't put in an extra lens to cut the light to turn things the right way. I recommend not the usual 7x50s or 7x35s. What do I mean by that? What's that first number? 7x is how much bigger? Magnification, 7 times bigger. The second number is the size of the lens in millimeters, not inches. The rest of the world, besides Australia and Great Britain and the US, uses metric. All right, so I recommend something a little bigger, 70 millimeters, 80 millimeters. The prices have come down. I bought a pair of 9x63s to see Halley's Comet in 1984. Yes, I was alive then. At the time of the dinosaurs, I was born then. I saw Halley's Comet way back. My binoculars cost $200 and they were 9x63s. Now you can do better. What about telescopes? The Celestron sells the first scope for on the order of $70. Helps to buy some accessories with it. And then there are Dobsonians. If you want to catch a lot of light, those can be $200 or more, something like that. I say check it out. There's a lot of good material out there. Celestron is a good brand, but there are many. And if you want to learn about that, I know some of us don't like to read anymore. Many of us don't read paper anymore, but you can get magazines from Sky and Telescope and Astronomy. You can subscribe online. You could get their free stuff online. Lots is free. And if you forget everything else I've told you tonight, what are the things you're supposed to remember? You observe meteors with what? Naked eye. The meteor shower is best seen May 6 to 7, right? And if you want to learn about space, go to space.com. Couldn't be easier to remember, right? Space.com. Again, I don't work for any of these, but I use them all the time. There are apps at space.com. They rate about 9 of the best apps. They have them for different purposes. For instance, if you're an Apple user, Night Sky 11 is good. I've used Stellarium, the installable version, or I've gone to their website, Stellarium skyview.org, or I've also used their app. Skyview is another one, but there are so many good ones. And the best of all, they're all free. Uh, here's um, here's a good one, Stellarium. I recommend that. I took a lot of the pictures you saw tonight from Stellarium, which is a live interactive planetarium in a box. You can go to anywhere on the Earth, anytime in the past or future, and see what the sky looks like. And you can do it yourself for free. Also, if you're a programmer, it's open source. You can contribute to the code. Some of you I know are learning code. Stellarium. Here's my sources that I used tonight if you want to find about what's up in the sky online. I like Go-Astronomy. They have a nice calendar, very simple. It shows the whole year, just about 4 or 5 events for each month. Starwalk is good. Space.com is easy to remember. Time and Date has a really good description, much more detail about everything you could see for the month. Things that I've left out that are not that important, like eclipses that only the people in the southern hemisphere can see. Time and Date. So, quick review in case you forgot. Eta Aquariids, May 6th. May 12th and 13th, good time to see the old moon in the new moon's arms. What does that mean? You see a slim part of the moon lit up, but why can we see the dark side? Where's that light coming from? Same thing happens the end of the month, May 19th, 20th. The light, there's something bright lighting up the dark side of the moon. What do you think it is? It's us. Earth's clouds are bright. Oceans. Remember the picture with Christina Koch? That bright Earth is lighting up the moon. Super new moon, May 16th, the middle of the month, is a great time to go outside at night. If you have a telescope or binoculars, see if you can see faint objects like nebulas or star clusters. I'll talk about a globular cluster next month. And then T Corona Borealis go boom. When? Maybe next month I'll talk about that. You've been a very good audience. You can find me at Astronomy in Motion, astronomyinmotion.com, where you can play with animations. You can see my artwork, and you can play with 23 three-dimensional planets, worlds, and objects. You can spin them with a mouse, with a joystick, with your fingers. Very fun. You can spin around Mars. You can see the major features, 10 of them. You can find the asteroid Apophis, which is coming right near us in just 2029. Minus 2026 is 3 years. It comes within the orbit of our satellites, 20,000 miles. It'll cross the whole sky in one night, very fast. So go to astronomyinmotion.com. And with that, I'm going to say, you've been a good audience. Thank you very much. Come on back again.
Thank you, Lonnie, for another great talk. Thank you, everyone. So we are going to do a question and answer session. But before I get into that, I do know a couple people snuck in after we started the presentation thinking that we escaped the safety briefing. It is, in fact, inescapable. With that, anyone here, if you need to use the bathroom, that is the porta potty in back. It is big, it is blue, it is illuminated by red for ease of finding in the dark. We also have a little museum and gift shop area. Feel free to check out our meteorite displays and other fun stuff in there. Each of the sheds over there has a roll of roof. The one with the roof rolled off or that has a volunteer standing around looking like they need to be asked many questions, it will be the one that is open. That being said, it is cloudy still, so I don't know the plan there. They have not communicated that plan to me yet. As we are walking around in the dark, because it is a state park, it is quite dark out here. We do ask that we keep any flashlights or such. Try and keep that light pointed towards the ground because we don't need to accidentally blind people. That being said, adults, when we go to drive out of here, we are using our headlights because as much as the bright lights ruin night vision, We much prefer being safe and not getting run over. It it really puts a damper to the end of everyone's day, and no one needs to spend the weekend in the ER. So let's avoid that. All right. So how question and answer session is going to work for people here? You're going to raise your hand and wave it about like you just don't care, and keep it up until I bring you the microphone. That way, not only will people here be able to hear you, but also the people online. Because chances are, if you have that question, someone else might have the same question, but not be brave enough to ask it. And you shouldn't worry about being brave enough. You should just ask the questions. Uh, because you know, that's how you learn. That being said, online chat. You guys just get to the easy part and type in, and I monitor you using my portable internet device. So I'm going to start this off with the first question we had online, which was, what is next month's presentation? And our next presentation is The Life and Legacy of Charles Messier, and that is presented by Bill Murray of one of our astronomy clubs that are member clubs, AAAP. So,
Princeton?
yes, I was trying to figure out the correct order of the A's, and I completely forgot. It's like Amateur Astronomers Association of Princeton. There are many A's, and I get them jumbled, unfortunately. So that is our next. If you're also wondering out into the future, we're not going to go through all of the talks here. Do check out our website, uacnj.org. You'll find that list of talks there, rather than us go through all of them online. And with that, was there a question out here? Man, I don't even get the crickets
So
because it's
everybody
cold.
knows everything.
Man, maybe we should have you guys give a talk. Oh, there I go. I see a hand. Is the muffin still on the floor? Avoiding the muffin.
How long have you been doing this for?
The question was, how long have I been doing this for? We started in 1994, so the Jurassic epoch, and that's what, 30, 26, yeah, 32 years. Wow. We started with, I don't know if anybody knows what a slide projector is or slides, but it used to be photographic film, little swatches of film in mounts in a big tray. I used to bring the tray, I put it on the slide projector, and boom, I was ready to go. Now it takes me about 5 hours to set up the machine, make the presentation, connect everything. No, I'm exaggerating. But it's a little more complicated in the digital era in which we live. So the quick answer to your question is a long time. And I hope to do it a lot longer. Thank you.
Right. Our next online question that I think will actually go off of that point nicely. One of our online chatters was being a bit cheeky. Lonnie, what is the dinosaur you miss the most from your times roaming as a child in the Cretaceous?
My favorite dinosaur, I wore dinosaur socks yesterday with Deinonychus, which is closely related to one that you've all seen in the movies, Velociraptor. So I like Deinonychus, which is very, very close because it was a fearsome hunter, kind of like the wolf of the Cretaceous. Thank you. Good question.
All right. And we got a question right up here.
What's the weirdest story you know about space?
The weirdest. Oh man, I wish I had that ready to hand. Let me think. The weirdest story I know about space. I know a spooky story that Arthur C. Clarke told once about Laika, the dog that was launched into orbit who did not survive. It was launched by the Soviet Union, the old Russian Federation. And in the short story, an astronaut goes up and hears a dog barking mysteriously. Ooh. But the weirdest true thing that ever happened in space. I don't know. Let me think about that. I'll come back next month. I have to think about that. I was thinking recently about the weirdest thing that ever happened to me personally. At one time, I jumped off a moving train with my stupid friend John, the two of us, and we got scratched up, but did we tell our parents? No. But that's a good question. I will think.
It also helps that space we're still doing things in space, so there are many much weird things that have happened and will happen, such
You,
as all the technology and we're using Microsoft Outlook in space, and at least one of the computers don't work
great.
on the Artemis mission.
You know what? If you want to find something weird on Mars, look up Orcus Patera. Orcus Patera. Patera means impact. It looks like somebody took a big slipper and slammed it into Mars. It's the weirdest crater on Mars, and they still don't know how it was formed exactly. Orcus, like the orca, Patera. Check it out.
My bet is someone with
Big shoes.
Hispanic mother got their mother a little too riled and La Chancla
Yep.
uh, I launched them into orbit. All right. Was there another question out here? All right. I see a couple.
Are there any tips to help like see stars in New York City?
Are there any tips to see stars in New York City?
Oh, tips to see stars in a city. That's as challenging as where I live, close to the city. So, yeah, I would recommend getting one of the free apps on your phone or your parents' phone, right? And then you could see what you're not able to see because of the city light. And that can help you locate brighter planets like Jupiter. That's always fun. The brighter stars are visible to the naked eye, even in the city. So this time of the year, you could find Regulus in Leo. Leo is due south, that one the line that looks like a backwards question mark. At the bottom of the question mark is the bluish star Regulus, and you can see that with no aid at all. So yeah, a good star map and a nice app. Ooh, that rhymes. A map and an app.
My suggestion, because like I said, I've lived most of my life avoiding metropolitan areas, and I don't know tips for viewing in the city. That being said, we do have a couple member clubs in New York City who often do sidewalk astronomy. I do suggest going on our website, looking them up. We also have a map inside our little museum area of our member clubs. Get in touch with them, go to their programs. Often they have telescopes and they know what you can see. And like I said, have some tips and tricks for what parks or areas are best to see them in. And some of them have some really neat things. I know a couple of them several years ago found out if they positioned themselves on the corner of this street and that street just right, they could get the sunrise through this set of buildings, and it looked really nice. And I don't remember where that was. I wish I did, but I do know it was neat because I saw the picture. All right, and I think I saw another question back there. Perfect.
What's your favorite star?
Ooh, what's my favorite star? I always thought that the orange star in Leo, in the question mark, you do this, and actually I could show it here. Whee! Don't get dizzy. Let's go back to Leo. Come on, Leo. There. That star right there is one of my favorites because it has a beautiful name, Algeba, Algeiba. And I
Unlike
thought,
the math subject
yeah,
at school.
not algebra, Algeba. It's an Arabic name. And I always thought if you have an orange cat, it would be nice to name it that. But my favorite star is Alberio, which you can see in the summertime. It's the head of the swan, Cygnus. Alberio is a beautiful double. One is cyan in color, a greenish blue. The other one is golden orange. And together, the color is striking, and you can see it with your eye in a telescope. So that's Alberio is my favorite. Thank you.
All right. One of our online viewers did look up the Coma Bernice's thing, which Coma Bernice means Bernice's hair in Latin and refers to Queen Bernice II of Egypt, who
Ah.
sacrificed her long hair as an offering for the safe return of her husband from an expedition.
Ooh, thank
So
you.
that was neat.
Good.
And I see a question back there.
Hi. I remember looking up Arcturus and I remember it was really colorful. Why is it so colorful when we look at it?
Oh, yeah. Why is Arcturus, the star Arcturus, so colorful when you look at it? It is the brighter stars activate enough. Well, it's one cone in your eye, but there's enough light coming there so you can see the color more easily. And it is a giant star in a called a red giant star. It's not really red, but redder than the sun. And if you ever look at flames, the bluer flames are hotter. The cooler the flame, the more yellowish. So our sun is average temperature at merely 10,000 degrees Celsius. Stars like Arcturus could be a few hundred degrees, much cooler, but much, much bigger, so sending back more light. So if Arcturus were in our solar system where the sun is, it would melt the inner planets Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars.
So just about the temperature I enjoy my showers at.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. Our next online question, and online people, if you have any questions, do get those in. I do like to give you a heads up. That way I don't have questions after the fact and you're like, they didn't answer my question. Uh, Anyhow, our next online question is from Bruce, and any familiarity with the Dwarf Mini Smart Telescope?
Oh, I've heard about the Dwarf Mini Smart Telescope. It does make things a lot easier. It does not gather a lot of light, but it takes pictures. I mean, it finds things automatically and takes some pretty nice pictures. They range. There's a big range in prices depending on how elaborate you want to get. But it's trying to make astronomy more accessible and easier for people to set up instead of going through all the setup that we amateur astronomers do, which is to hook up a power supply, attach a camera, put on a clock drive that drives the telescope to counter Earth's motion. That's all done in one small package.
I will say one of our observers, Walt Windish, he does give a presentation, and I believe he actually owns one and has been using one. So I would suggest hitting up our website, looking up any of the talks that Walt Windish is giving, and coming back and asking that same question then, because he might actually be able to answer uh, how his view after using the telescope. Because it's one thing for someone who hasn't used it to go, "Yep, that's a telescope," and another thing entirely for, "Oh yeah, I used it. It was great. I used it on my trip to New Zealand." Um, Gosh darn it.
Oh,
That
wow.
that is going to be future Kim's problem, I have decided. It will be a problem, but it's future Kim's problem. Uh, so I'm going to try and ignore the fact that that happened. Normally I have that problem with frogs. Uh, were there any more questions out here? And keep in mind, I have been looking at a screen, so I'm kind of night blind. So once you put your hand down, you're just kind of a shadowy figure in the dark.
We've had very good questions.
Anyone? Bueller. Bueller. All right. So it looks like that's all the questions we have for tonight. Uh, Hopefully, our guys who may or may not be running telescopes, I can't tell anymore because, like I said, my night vision's shot. But our volunteers will be able to help you. So I do want to thank everyone who has joined us here, everyone in on our online chat. Uh, and until next time, clearer skies and good seeing.
Thank you. Good night.